Hi, Mark Yegi here. I'm author of the Cash Flow Machine Fundamentals book. It's a system for trading covered calls for reliable income. It's not just any buy the stock and then sell the covered call against it. There's a whole system. So I believe if you're going to learn how to do anything, you have to learn a proper way to do it so that you can repeat it over and over again. I think, some of the most successful things in life are formulas, right? If you want to go out and play golf, you have to grab the club the right way, swing it the right way, and you have to do it the same way every time. And you could kind of start to predict the result, unless you're me and you play golf like I do, and my golf results are completely unpredictable. But you get the theory. The theory is have a system with rules so that you could take the emotions out of your trading. Part of our system is that we use what we call golden rules. And in this video and in a few other videos, I'm going to be talking about some of the really critical rules that we have in our system. So let's start with the first one, and that's going to kind of set the stage for all of them. And that is, don't be tempted by sexy returns. We do covered calls on what we call solid, exciting stocks. You know what the solid, exciting stocks are. They're good quality growth stocks, high caps, held up by the institution. So things like Tesla, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, PayPal, Visa, these are companies that will probably, we can't say anything for sure in the stock market, will probably be around in a few years, in a year, in 10 years, those kinds of things. Anything can change, but we want to be trading stocks and investing in stocks that are going to be around. We don't want to have things that have the potential for going out of business. It's just one more thing we have to worry about. So our first rule is don't be tempted by sexy returns. So for example, I'll go out there and I'll get some good juice. That's the time premium we get. That's really what we're after in the cash flow machine covered call system, is we'll go out there and we'll collect some juice. And it's pretty good on Tesla, for example, or it's okay on Apple. But some people call me and they go, yeah, but I looked at this AMC stock and the juice is incredible. And I'm like, yeah, but AMC stock can go down 25% in a morning or up 25% in a morning. And, if you're not prepared for that move, you're not going to be able to handle that move, and it's going to cost you. Why do you want to have that extra headache, right? Just invest in solid, exciting stocks that are going to be around. It's a simple thing. Plus, these stocks aren't held up by Aunt Shirley and Uncle Johnny, right? They're held up by the big institutions. When you get into some of these meme stocks, there aren't institutions that are putting their billions of dollars behind holding a stock up. That's what you want. They can come down. Sure, a lot of tech stocks came down in 2021 by a lot. But by and large, they went back up because those institutions were able to prop those back up rather than just getting out of the way and letting them go to zero. So you want to be really careful about what you invest in, and you don't want to just shoot for big old sexy returns in a week or a month. You want to have the consistent income. That's number one. You want to align our four pillars, okay? And so if you can align these four pillars in your direction, it makes things a whole lot easier. Like I call it a tailwind, especially when it comes to the right market, the second one. So what we want to do is we want to align these four pillars. The first one is to buy the right stock, right? I just talked about it. The right stock. It's a growing stock. It's uptrending. It's held up by the institutions. It's solid. It's exciting. It's a stock that you want to be involved in. It's a stock that mentally you can put your brain around, right? Like if some people don't understand mining, well, you don't want to be in a mining stock if you don't really understand or like that business, or oil, or some electronic component or some chemical. But you can get your brain around Apple's products, right? Maybe you like Apple's products. You got their AirPods, you got their subscriptions. Like you can get your brain around that. That's going to keep you focused in the stock. So you got to start with the right stock. Then you move to the right market. A lot of people say you can't time the market. Well, we have a system called the Genius System, which we've come up with, and it works about 85% of the time, where the market, you can kind of catch the trend and you can adjust your trading strategy accordingly. And it works, guys. Like you could tell when there's a momentum shift in the market, and you might want to be prepared for it. And we do that with covered calls in our strategy. So you want to have the right market. We call it a green market to be able to have that tailwind behind us. It's better than sailing into the wind, right? All right, the third thing is the right spot on the chart. There are certain spots on the chart where you have the highest probability of making money. I'm a former momentum trader. I'm a swing trader. I have a trend anticipation hedge fund. And, one of those things that we do is we try to anticipate the trend, and we try to ride that trend as it goes. Now, 80% of the time stocks consolidate, and about 20% of the time they trend. We want to be with that trend, right? We want the stock to go higher than our strike price because we make our maximum amount of money at the strike price or above. So we don't mind that it goes up a little bit higher than the strike price. It's the best way to do our system of covered calls. So you want to have the right spot on the chart. Now, they're not always breaking out. Sometimes they're dipping. There's lots of other different spots on the chart. But if you can get that right spot on the chart, you get a lot higher probability. And we don't have 100% certainty in anything, right? In life, certainly in the market. When you first click on that mouse, you have a 50% chance of being right and a 50% chance of being wrong. But there's a smart person on the other side of the trade that has the same chances as you. So your goal is to align your probabilities in your favor so you can skew them higher than 50%, maybe 50, 60, maybe up to even to 70%, which is about where we get. And that's the right stock in the right market at the right spot on the chart. And then what we do, the last thing, remember we talked about those trying to chase those sexy returns. We don't want to do that. The last thing then we do is we squeeze the juice out of the covered call. We squeeze that juice. We get our best time premium, and we have to make sure that the stock is exciting enough to have some kind of juice in it, some kind of time premium, because that's where we're really going to make our money. And over time, even these little amounts, they add up. So just remember that you don't have to shoot for the stars here and swing for the fences, to use two mixed metaphors there. All right. The third one is don't be lured in by the high juice on your short position. This kind of goes with the other things, right? You don't want to just trying to kill it every time. This is not what we're doing here. This is a different mentality. Most other people, they try to buy a stock low and they sell it high, right? They want to buy a stock at 100 and be able to go tell their friends that it went to 200 and they doubled their money, right? Or they probably along the way, they sold out halfway up because they wanted to pocket that, that profit, didn't want to give it up. But that's what most people try to do. And that's why most people fail, because they buy a stock at 100 and it goes to 90 and they're like, wow, I liked it at 100. Let me buy more at 90. And then they buy more at 90 and it goes to 80. And now they're in and they're stuck, and then they just wait, right? They don't have a strategy. They don't have a system. What we do is we don't care if it goes from 100 to 200. We like it to trend toward 200. And as it does, we like to sell covered calls against that position. Now, whether they're deep in the money or near the money or at the money, that's a totally different issue. That's part of our system, and that's what we teach in the cash flow machine. And the last one is based on what I just said, and that is rarely or never sell out of the money covered calls. Now, if you're watching this video and you're on my covered call channel, you're like, what? That's why I sell all my covered calls out of the money. Well, there's a time for that, right? It just shouldn't be your lead strategy all the time, because if the markets are going down and you're in the money, you have that in the money amount as protection. Right? Remember, you're short that short call. So as it goes down, you get that money. Well, your base position is also going down. So it offsets dollar for dollar on a stock versus a covered call. But at least you got some protection when the market's going down. That's what we want, is we want to try to maximize our profit when the market's going up, right? Without taking too much risk, just getting the probabilities in our favor. And we want to get our probabilities in our favor that we're not going to lose money when the markets are going down. It's a little bit of a balance that we use in our cash flow machine trading system. So that's the first 4 golden rules in our program. We have many more. I'll be adding some videos to the channel so that you can see those over time. But if you could just start with those 4 and keep them in mind, you'll have a better disposition when it comes to actually selling covered calls in the market. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you get a moment, because we'd really like to tell the algorithm that you're watching this. And if you're watching this far, I know you're interested in this subject of covered calls, so thank you. And then you can hit the notification bell. It'll tell you when our next video comes out as well. So thanks for being here. See you next time.